In the headlines, ECCB announces a plan to increase use of electronic and digital payments, but not to phase out cash. Prime Minister Skerrit hopeful that current round of salary negotiations can end soon, and a draft tobacco legislation to be proposed to Cabinet soon. I am Andrea Louis with the Channel 5 News, back with the details after this. Thank you for staying with us. First up, a new strategic plan of the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank will seek to promote increased use of electronic and digital payments. Iduna Jean-Baptiste explains.
The move to increase the use of electronic and digital payments is part of a mission to achieve a 5% economic growth rate within the Eastern Caribbean Central Union. The ECCU, which comprises Antigua and Barbuda, Dominica, Grenada, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Lucia, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines, is under the supervision of the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank. They all use the Eastern Caribbean currency. ECCB Governor Grenadian Timothy Antoine announced on Friday at the State House that one of the goals of its strategic plan will be to reduce dependency on cash among member states.
Our initial estimates suggest that on average, 70% of all our transactions or purchases are either cash or checks. That's a high number. So, we need to set a target. And I'm suggesting that we try to halve that number in 5 years. That's ambitious, but if we resolve to do it, it can be done.
Antoine says the aim is not to phase out the use of cash. He pointed out that encouraging more electronic and digital transactions can solve common issues plaguing the financial sector.
Now, cash is not going to go away, and that's not what we attempted to do. But we do believe it can make a big difference to our economic trajectory. Remember, that's the question, how we get to 5% and sustain that. In addition to the prospect this shift offers for helping the productivity speed up, I believe this shift is part of the solution to addressing rising bank fees and charges, a concern repeatedly expressed by our citizens, customers in the ECCB. Furthermore, the use of electronic and digital payments could be a useful tool in responding to the issue of rising criminality, a grave concern in our fair hands. The fact that most of our citizens already possess at least one smartphone means this shift is feasible, but internet connectivity and speed must improve.
The ECCB will launch its strategic plan on September 7 with a focus on socio-economic transformation.
Critical and structural reforms include overhaul of our education curriculum and improving the ease of doing business for all investors, including our local entrepreneurs, many of which are among our youth. I have a passion for young people, as you probably know. Critical investments include scaling up of technical and vocational skills training, including certification in coding to prepare for the ICT jobs that are available, or opportunities that are available in the 21st century. It also includes job training, research and development, and infrastructure such as high-speed internet and renewable energy. And I drove around the country on Wednesday. I was very pleased to see more and more of our street lights here in Dominica using solar PV. I think that's commendable, and that's the direction we want to go.
In more top stories, amendments to the Banking Act and anti-money laundering legislation are among reforms to be undertaken by the Monetary Council of the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank. In his address as he received the chairmanship post of the ECCB Monetary Council, Mr. Skerrit said the amendments will be to strengthen financial stability.
The new Banking Act is in place in all ECCU states. There are areas of concern identified by both the ECCU Bankers Association and the Central Bank. Addressing these will require amendments to certain sections of the Act. Undoubtedly, these amendments will further improve the regulation and supervision of the banking sector.
He said the Monetary Council will also pursue amendments to anti-money laundering and counter-financing of terrorism legislation.
Key provision will be conferring the powers of supervision for AML-CFT to the ECCB for all entities licensed under the Banking Act. This move will strengthen the region's negotiation to preserve correspondent banking relationships and to find solutions to the serious threat of de-risking or loss of correspondent banking relationships.
On to trade union negotiations, where Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit has expressed optimism that salary negotiations for the 2015-2018 triennium will be completed ahead of the presentation of the 2017-2018 national budget. The Prime Minister made the announcement when addressing a ceremony in Trafalgar on Thursday. In March this year, during a town hall meeting in Loda, the Prime Minister extended an invitation to the various trade unions and other bodies in Dominica to have a conversation to discuss the issue of public sector wages and the realistic capacity of the government. The Waterfront and Allied Workers Union, WAWU, had welcomed this proposal. The Dominica Association of Teachers, DAT, while indifferent to the invitation, had hoped that negotiations would continue privately. The Public Service Union, PSU, on the other hand, had flat out rejected the proposed meeting and was adamant it would only meet with government's negotiating team on a one-on-one basis. Following that national consultation, which had taken place on 24th April, government's negotiating team had continued to meet with the trade unions individually to carry on the talk of salary negotiations. On Thursday evening, Prime Minister Skerrit disclosed that negotiations with the PSU should be wrapped up before the budget presentation.
We agreed that for 2015 it will be a 0% because there is no way you can, through good conscience, increase your salary in Dominica when you are to battle with Erica and rely on Barbados and Trinidad and individuals and so on, sending food for you, sending clothes for you, that you go and increase salaries and so on. For the second year, the government has offered the public servants in Dominica 2 months' salary. 2 months' salary, which means if your salary is $5,000, the government is offering you $10,000 for the second year. And for the third year, we're offering public servants a 3% salary increase. Can we afford it? My answer to you, not necessarily. But we recognize the contribution which public servants are making to the country's development, and we are going the extra mile to assist them or to recognize their efforts. My hope and prayer is that very soon we can conclude on these negotiations, so immediately after the passage of the budget, we can pay the 2 months' salaries to public servants, and they could be better off.
The budget presentation is scheduled for Thursday, 27th July. Moving on to matters of health, health authorities will table a draft tobacco legislation to Cabinet soon. That's the hope of Minister for Health, Dr. Kenneth Daru, as the country revises this piece of legislation. A consultant from the World Health Organization, WHO, was on island last month to help the revision of the draft legislation.
We have provided us a cabinet with a number of the legislation, as a draft legislation, the number of our CARICOM sister countries. So the hope is that we're going to revise all of this draft legislation, see which of these are pertinent to Dominica, and really hoping that pretty soon that we can take this to Parliament. The consultant would have to review the draft, then come to Cabinet, for review and probably send to the Attorney General chambers for internal, discussion, and until Cabinet satisfies itself that all the provisions within the law are going to be conducive, no controversial issues in there, and because we also have to look respect people's rights. When we do these things, respect different people's lifestyles, and while we can legislate certain things, we also have to be careful that we don't in legislating things that we think is going to help us fight CNCDs and other health issues, that we don't violate people's fundamental and basic human rights. Yeah.
According to PAHO and WHO, the most cost-effective tobacco control measures include higher tobacco taxes, elimination of tobacco advertising and promotion, smoke-free environments, and strong graphic health warnings on tobacco packaging. Daru believes that once this legislation comes to pass, it will go a long way in Dominica's efforts to combat the effects of chronic non-communicable diseases on island.
I think as a Minister of Health, apart from the sugar tax, the quote-unquote sugar tax that we introduced and on alcohol, etc., some months ago, that I think this is also going to be a tremendous achievement and assist us, and it's also going to look good on a resume as it pertains to combating CNCDs. We know the cause of CNCDs, a lot of these are lifestyle related, alcohol and smoking, etc. So as a Minister of Health, I think that it would be, I think, quite a big feather in my cap if I could take this to Parliament. So yeah.
Coming up, over $500,000 invested in the Roseau Valley constituency for small business development. Stay with us. Welcome back. Director of the Eastern Caribbean Alliance for Diversity and Equality, Kenita Placid, has called for equal access to services for the LGBT community to be encouraged. Iduna Jean-Baptiste has more.
The Eastern Caribbean Alliance for Diversity and Equality, ECAD, was formed in May 2003 through the Caribbean Regional HIV/AIDS Program. It was registered in 2015. It is a network of organizations working across the Eastern Caribbean to promote a culture of human rights, equality, justice, and respect for all people. Its director, Kenita Placid, spoke to Channel 5 News last week in St. Lucia following a media workshop on sexual reproductive health and rights.
I think it's important to look at sexuality not being standalone, sexual reproductive health and rights not being standalone, but ensuring that the collaboration, the intersectionality is there as we look at the whole individual, the wellness of an individual. And so how we continue to work with each other to understand the work that we're doing, the terminology, be a little more conscious of how our own personal values affect how we are able to provide the services that people need to access are affected.
Placid says people with other sexual orientations from the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, LGBT community are humans who simply want to go about their lives without fear of discrimination.
We wish to get to a point where the community, the society, our islands, our ministers, where LGBT issues or LGBT persons will not be a bargaining tool, they will not be a bargaining item, it will not be the thing most important for churches to stand against. We hope that we get to a point where people would recognize that LGBT persons are simple human beings and the only agenda that they obtain is the same as themselves. A life without discrimination, access to services, access to resources, and having a family.
Heading into the Roseau Valley, where over 70 individuals from the Trafalgar area have received financial assistance for the development of the small business enterprise there. At a ceremony on Thursday, parliamentary representative for the Roseau Valley constituency disclosed that close to $750,000 will be spent to grow the small business industry in the Roseau Valley.
We're dealing with quite a bit of resources for the small business in Trafalgar Wharton Wagon. And if I think, from what I see here, I'm seeing about close to 499,530.95, and there are about 70-something persons from Trafalgar who are going to receive, some assistance from the government in terms of for their small business. When we go across Wharton Wagon, which is a slightly smaller community but with some vibrant people, we're looking at 249.9. Let's basically say 250. So we're looking at almost, let's say, $750,000 to be spent on small businesses throughout that area.
The Member of Parliament also reminded the beneficiaries to use the funds wisely to upgrade their various businesses.
You have to establish proper record systems Your banking has to be organized. Your social security for your workers. You're going to have to pay assistance and pay your social security dues. You must keep records because the office of the Ministry of Commerce will come from time to time to visit and look at the progress of your business. So this is not money we're giving away for free. Yes, it's grant money and it's all aimed at helping you. But I would like to urge you, and I repeat, I would like to urge you to use the money wisely for your business.
And a prominent youth empowerment camp is revamping its role in building young people. VF Inc.'s 10th Summer Youth Series is set to run from 24th to 29th July at the Holy Redeemer Retreat House in Eggleston. Organizer Dr. Valda Henry of VF Inc. says the camp is one where its youthful participants, under guided supervision, sharpen their leadership skills by running its operations. It is aimed at children ages 10 to 18 years of age, but Henry is willing to welcome some children outside that age group.
All our activities, most of the activities will be geared around volunteerism and life of service, as well as the field trips. The core of the VF Inc. series is self-esteem, developing self-esteem, self-confidence, and self-worth. Because we are of the firm view that if persons are not secure in who they are, if they are not confident in who they are, they do not go on to fulfill their life-given purpose. This year we have acceded to the request of our constituents, and we are doing the sleeping. And so there'll be the program from 8 to 4:30, which will be the day program, and then the evening program will begin from about 6 o'clock. So we give them a break where they go and change and rest themselves, and then an evening program that will start from 6 o'clock to about 9:30.
It is being held under the theme, Empowering Our Youth for a Better Tomorrow, and the sub-theme is Volunteerism and the Life of Service. That's news. Your sports highlights next with Kenny Williams.
First up, locally based cricket franchise Windward Islands Volcanoes now has a new head coach after former coach Ian Allen's contract was not renewed in December 2016. Andre Coley, the new coach, played 7 first-class and 10 List A matches as a wicketkeeper batsman for Jamaica between 1998 and 1999 and represented the West Indies under-19 team between 1993 to 1995 as a youth. Coley is an accredited WICB Level 2 and Cricket Australia Level 3 coach. He was an assistant coach to the West Indies men's squad most recently until July 2017, a post he held since January 2014. He successfully coached Jamaica under-15 and under-19 squads from 2006 to 2009 and was thereafter appointed head coach of the West Indies under-19 squad to the ICC Youth World Cup in New Zealand in 2010. Coley joins the team in Dominica to commence training in the pre-season preparation for the Digicel PCL Regional 4-Day, guided to start at the end of October, and the Regional Super 50, which starts in February. Moving on to football, where coaches here will benefit from a 3-day training program as the Dominica Football Association seeks to make continued improvements to the quality of the sport here. Course instructor Jerome Badwell says the 3-day course, which began on Friday, is in line with DFA's strategic objectives for football development here.
We are today realizing a crucial component of our national development plan: building capacity among our coaches by providing educational opportunities for their advancement. A feature highlighted and clearly articulated from our national development plan to get more persons on board as far as coaching of the game. It is our aim to prepare competent coaches for teams at all levels, starting from the grassroots, moving up to the clubs, and even to the national teams. And for the purpose of the course, the focus will be on the 12-year-olds and lower. But I must also say that the information can be applicable to other age groups.
The course will clearly indicate the DFA's vision for player development. 19 coaches registered for the course. Meantime, the DFA will continue its effort at lifting the standard of football here with a 5-day administrative course beginning on Monday. The course will be facilitated by Jamaican FIFA instructor Dale Spencer and focuses on equipping football club administrators with the know-how on club management and administration.
Participants will be exposed to a wide range of topics which will position them to ensure better and more efficient club functioning. In this regard, clubs are asked to send one participant to this all-important course.
Monday's session begins at 9 a.m. Meanwhile, the deadline for the complete online registration for the Premier and Division 1 leagues are July 24 and July 31 respectively for the 2017-2018 football season. The online registration process consists of 4 online forms and 11 other requirements. In track and field, local athlete Danielson Mahote continued to make improvement in his sport when he broke another record on Thursday. Just last week, Mahote broke 2 records in one day in the under-18 boys 100 meters at the Youth World Championship in Nairobi, Kenya, clocking 10.74, then 10.67 seconds to run a new under-18 100-meter national record of 10.61 at the Commonwealth Games in Bahamas on Thursday. Mahote narrowly missed out on a podium finish to place 4th. Third place ran 10.61 seconds as well, but after a thorough investigation, Mahote was given 4th place. Next up, teams get nearer to the finish line as the road to the championship of the 2017 Fort Young Hotel Intermediate Cricket League draws nearer. In semi-final action on Saturday, Police Sports Club will be itching for a spot in the finals when they come up against the formidable Jays Dubla United team. Galileo Hurricanes and Sagicor General Somerset will be locked in bat and ball action on Sunday for a spot in the finals as well. Both games are carded for the Botanic Gardens at 11 a.m. on each day. Back with more football, the local governing body on the sport will host its final competition for the 2016-2017 season with the staging of the Under-17 Boys League on Sunday. The day is expected to begin with an opening ceremony with remarks from DFA officials, followed by a ballorama. 10 registered clubs are expected to take part in the league.
They are Club Lubia United, Southeast Football Club, Smart Tarish United Football Club, East Central Football Club, New Wave Point Michelle Football Club, Baffin State Football Club, Dubla Football Club, Harlem United, Exodus Football Club, Bombers Football Club, and Colio Football Club. The last Under-17 Boys League was won by Point Michelle.
The league kicks off at 3 p.m. at the Windsor Park Sports Stadium. And Clouds dominated the basketball scene when they defeated 767 Sports Club 60-35 in the Under-17 category on Thursday. Scoring for Clouds, Shalon Vidal had a game high of 24 points, while Sharon Vidal and Jeremiah Joseph added 8 points each. In a losing effort, 767's Dante Peters netted 8 points. Game 2 was called off due to rain. That's all the sporting highlights for now. I am Kenny Williams. Be sure to join us next time.
Stay tuned for the weekend weather forecast.
Good evening and welcome to tonight's weather broadcast. I'm your presenter, Annie Correct-Joseph. We begin by taking a look at earlier infrared satellite imagery, which showed this area of convection associated with a tropical wave and is expected to affect the northern portion of the Lesser Antilles tonight into tomorrow. Visible satellite imagery showed few low-level clouds over Dominica during the afternoon, which resulted in partly cloudy skies. Radar imagery indicated limited shower activity over Dominica. However, just off the east coast of the island chain can be seen some shower activity and is expected to move over the northern portion of the Lesser Antilles during the evening into tomorrow. Conditions for tonight: partly cloudy to cloudy skies with the possibility for some isolated thunderstorm. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy skies with some scattered showers. Sea conditions, moderate in open water with waves up to 7 feet. Let's take a look at conditions for the next 3 days. Again, tomorrow, Saturday, mostly cloudy skies with scattered showers. On Sunday and Monday, partly cloudy to cloudy skies with some scattered showers. Across the region tomorrow, partly cloudy to cloudy skies with some scattered showers can be expected throughout the chain, with the possibility for some thunderstorm activity over the extreme northern and extreme southern portions of the chain. On the international scene, partly cloudy skies can be expected in New York, London, and Beijing. Some possible thunderstorm activity expected in Miami and Caracas. The sun will rise tomorrow at 5:45 a.m. and set at 6:39 p.m. For up-to-date information, log on to our website at weather.gov.dm or call the weather hotline at 447-5555. Please remember we are in the hurricane season. Please keep updated. Thank you and good evening.
To end the news, the headlines again. ECCB announces a plan to increase use of electronic and digital payments, but not to phase out cash. Prime Minister Skerrit hopeful that current round of salary negotiations can end soon, and a draft tobacco legislation to be proposed to Cabinet soon. Feel free to contact us at news@MarpinNews21stJuly2k17. You can also access our past newscasts on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the entire production team, I am Andrea Louis, and to all of our viewers around the world, thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful weekend.